Okay, let's do this. AEW Revolution, Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah, I'm late on this, but hey, obviously conflicting schedules and whatnot, but we are here to do this review, pay-per-view, Sting's last match. It's showtime! It's showtime! It's showtime! Woo! But first, let my co-hosts introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm just J Rod, rapper, comedian, actor, huge wrestling fan. Thanks for having me, Bryce.
Yes, definitely. Showtime! That's time for now. Okay, I'm doing an impression. No, never mind. Let's get into this pay-per-view because obviously there's a lot to talk about. I would go kind of breeze by the pre-show because I don't really have a lot to say for it. I'm sure you don't either, but just to make a quick note of it, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, which consists of the Acclaimed and the Bullet Club Gold versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satum Singh, Private Party, and Willie Mack. There's really not much to say about the 0 Hour show, and like I said, it's a 12-man tag. Jay White and them won. Blade Runner on Willie Mack. I don't really care because they got the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles and the regular AEW 6-man tag titles. The only noteworthy thing I can take out of this now is what Max Caster now making a gimmick to mess up all his rhymes when he comes out in his entrance, and then Jay White saying it's that easy. And then Jay White basically said, in 10 days, it's going to be some big business for him. So when this big business show happens for AEW in the next few weeks, apparently he's got something big going on. So hopefully so, because I don't really like where Jay White is right now. He went from going for the world title now to just some Ring of Honor 6-man tag title. So I don't know. You got anything on that?
Oh man, I mean, you basically took the words right out of my mouth. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, it's not much to say from this.
It wasn't too much.
Yeah, it's like I don't really got nothing to say about this group. I kind of wish it would end, but we'll see what happens with Jay White because he's kind of falling off big time. Some believe he probably should have went to the WWE, but I don't know. And the other second pre-show match was Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Once again, it's not really a lot to say from here. It was a solid tag match. That's all I can really say about it. I don't even know where this feud is going anymore. They just have Stokely Hathaway with Willow and Statlander, which I guess they're a team, or he's trying to not make them a team or something like that. I haven't really paid much attention to it all the way. And maybe Willow gets a TBS title shot because she hadn't been a champion. She pinned Sky Blue, but I feel like I've seen this feud and match go on for like multiple weeks now without really type of any end.
I get that. Honestly, I didn't even realize that I didn't watch the pre-show. Honestly, and I totally forgot that he was even a part, like managing them now. I guess. I mean, I guess that's pretty cool. I love Willow Nightingale. She's amazing. Let's just see what happens with that.
The only other thing I can say that at least came out of pre-show, and I was kind of late finding out about this, is that Pac is coming back. He is coming back soon.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Pac since what? Was it the blood and guts match, or I think
it might have been when he walked away.
Yeah, I feel like it's been longer than that. So yeah, we haven't seen Pac in a very long time. So I'm glad to hear that he is coming back. So at least that's something noteworthy coming out of it. But getting into the main show now, we actually did kick off the actual show with Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT title. Obviously, Christian bringing out the rest of the Christian coalition with him. It wasn't a bad match. I thought it was a good opener. It was okay. Obviously, Kill Switch and Nick Wayne and Nick Wayne's mom were gonna get involved, and I thought whatever she tried to do was slap the Save Big Money at Menards guy. He came out to help Garcia, and I guess she tried to slap him, but it looked like her slap looked really off for some reason. It looked really botched, and Menard caught it, but he ended up fighting Kill Switch to the back, and Nick Wayne ended up doing some cutter move that did not look good at all, and then Christian hit the kill switch and won the match and still retained the TNT title. The only thing I can really say out of this, I'm surprised Edge didn't come out and get involved.
Yeah. Don't say anything. It's never too late. I mean, it was never too late. That's the way I felt about it. It was like I like to the very end. I was like, yeah, Edge is coming. And it just didn't happen. I don't know if that's gonna lead to something later. It probably will. I re- I love Christian. I think he's one of the best things of AEW. I would have loved to see Daniel Garcia win that match though.
I wouldn't have minded, but I never really believed he was gonna win. The crowd did kind of, in a way, believe Garcia may have won, but I just never really thought he was winning. Unless Edge came out and helped him, then maybe I would have thought that. But I thought Edge was gonna return and just screw Christian out of the title or something. But no, it was just Christian beat him, and he just had the rest of the Christian coalition help him.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. So overall, it was cool.
Yeah, what a bad opener.
Yeah, it did what it was supposed to do for sure.
Basically, that's all it really did. It did what it was supposed to do, and Christian won. So, yeah, not a lot to say from there. Right after that, we did have Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston for the Continental Crown Championship. I gotta say, this was one of the great matches of the night.
Yeah.
I think both of these guys beat the hell out of each other, and the crowd was really hyped for it. If you've been following the story, which I feel like I've fallen off Collision nowadays, anyways. But basically, um, Danielson disrespecting Eddie Kingston, calling him a bum all the time, and beating up his mentors and whatnot. So obviously, Eddie was going to get his payback here. But this was hell of a match, though.
No, it
Hell,
was a great match.
definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Did I think Danielson was winning? Nah. I feel like the crowd did. But given like he's been the heel out of this, and Kingston is the face here, I figured Kingston was gonna get his payback on him. Because Danielson tried to go for his running knee, but Eddie clotheslined him, hit him with a power bomb, and won the match. And then right after, Danielson was just sitting on the mat and basically was going to shake his hand, but didn't want to do it. But then he went back again, and he ended up shaking his hand and showing Eddie Kingston respect then. So he finally respected him. Eddie Kingston finally got a win. Well, he already beaten Danielson before, but he got another win over Danielson.
Well, that's good. I'm sure he enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, the whole feud was just mostly Danielson disrespecting Eddie, but this is a great match, though. Hell of a match. Definitely enjoyed it. Some say it was more of Japanese style out there, which I've seen some people kind of throw that around, but I definitely enjoyed it. Next was probably the worst match out of the night, maybe the 8-man scramble, which was originally supposed to be the Meat Madness match. At first, it was going to involve, yeah, that was the real match. What it was called,
I
Meat
know.
Madness.
That's wild.
Wardlow, it was supposed to be Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Lance Archer in a triple threat. But then Tony Khan came out and said people were injured that they were going to put in there. And, I guess Keith Lee, we already knew that was hurt. But the other person that was hurt was Miro, which this was actually news to Miro. I don't know how Tony Khan didn't know his own people were hurt, because Miro said, I've been hurt since September and finally got medical attention in January. How do you not know when your own talent is hurt?
I mean, charges to the game, I guess. How do you
Tony,
not know? I have no idea.
that's strange to me, especially with the owner.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
that's very odd. But this
I
got
mean,
changed.
maybe it's overwhelming. Is this his only business? Is this Tony Khan's only business? Maybe, but even then, like Vince McMahon had multiple businesses. He didn't never forget about that type of stuff, or he assigned people to not forget about that type of stuff.
True, that is true. Because honestly, I've kind of forgotten about Miro at this point. The last time Miro
Shit,
was even really seen was the last pay-per-view.
damn, maybe Tony. I mean, obviously Tony did too, huh?
I guess so. Like, man, you ain't seen him since the last pay-per-view. You ain't seen him on TV ever since. And then he just has to come out on Twitter and say, like, yeah, this happened. I don't know what he's talking about. So, yeah, it makes zero sense. It doesn't. It just doesn't make any sense. But now this got changed to an 8-man scramble. So now it was Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Lance Archer,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Cage, Chris Jericho, Hook, and Magnus. And I'm not talking about Magnus from on WWE right now, Nick Aldis. This is the luchador called Magnus and Dante Martin. Um, Honestly, this was a wild spot fest, which was very sloppy. There was a lot of spot calling in this. The match was all over the place. Okay, it was all over the place, and if they had wanted to keep the Meat Madness thing, they could have just did a fatal 4-way with Wardlow, Hobbs, Archer, um, you know, Brian Cage, and they could have just went on from there. I don't know why they really needed all these other people in there just to put them on the card. And it ended up with Wardlow winning, so now he will get a world title shot, which I think everybody knew Wardlow was going to win anyways, given that he's been cutting work shoot promos on AEW for the past couple weeks. And, we got to make sure we mention Punk, even though he
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
work anymore. Yeah, because everything Wardlow said was true, even though they got him in a dead faction with, wheelchair Adam Cole and, the Kingdom and all that. But all of Wardlow's promos basically been for the past few weeks where, I was supposed to be the guy like 2 years ago. I beat the best in the world. I beat MJF. I beat Samoa Joe, which all of this is true. And yes, this guy did have a rocket ship to him, and we said he probably would have been the next Batista. And we always wonder why he didn't go for the world title. So it's just kind of funny now that, you got him in this dead faction, but now he's basically telling the truth of what's going on. So that already kind of
Vince
made me know he was going to win the world title. So it doesn't make sense because that's just bad AEW booking. It's like you should have been pushing this guy to the top, but then they just
anyway.
didn't know how to book him anymore.
Yeah. Well, shoot. I'm glad Wardlow is getting a shot at being something again.
True, because this undisputed kingdom thing it sucks. It sucks. The whole devil thing was a waste of time, and we saw how the reveal was, and it was really bad. And this group is just really bad. But now they want to try. It's hard taking it seriously when the leader is in a wheelchair.
I get that. Shit. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't look realistic.
And it's like Warlow's going back to listening to a small guy again. He was listening to MJF, now he's listening to Adam Cole. But now he's out there cutting work shoot promos like it's WCW out there in 2000.
Yeah, you damn near right.
That's some WCW 2000 booking right there. So it's like, yeah, we fucked up, but now you can go out there and let's blame people in the back or talked about how, yeah, I was supposed to be the guy and whatnot 2 years ago. And, I beat the best in the world so bad his injuries are still, taking a toll on his body in that other company.
Damn, them niggas really don't got shit else to do.
Yeah, we'll get to more Punk mention and somewhat Punk mentioning soon enough, but it is kind of, should they mention Cody one week and then they mention Punk the next week? So yeah, what's next week's work shoot promo? Because it looks like what AEW is kind of going towards right now. You did it with Darby, now you did it with Wardlow, so it made it obvious he was gonna win. So yeah, this should be the Wardlow we should have been getting of him being dominant and going over people, but it's like they messed it up. Now we got to redo it. So.
At
Yeah,
least they doing it.
at least they doing it. So yeah, this match wasn't good. It was all over the place and predictable. So it is what it is. Next, Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong for the AEW International Title. Yeah, I'm be honest. I was halfway paying attention to this until the end. You know me when it comes to these Cassidy matches. You get what I
Honestly,
mean? You get what I mean?
honest, no, I do. Orange Cassidy, I'm so happy that he can take some time off now. Hopefully, he don't have to come back next week and try to fight for it again. Take some time off. You're Your whole gimmick of last year was I'm being overworked. So now you're not being overworked because you lost the title. Let it go. Um, Roderick Strong. I think the face turn is coming. Because you haven't said it yet, and I'm gonna let you say it, but there was a surprise at the end of the match.
Because yes, Roderick Strong did win the international title. I'm glad to see Roderick Strong get something around here. As silly as his gimmick is of yelling at him and all that other stuff, and how comedically bad it's been, it's actually glad to see him actually win something around here. Yes, I can go on into third-rate title, or even going into this, like you said, with the whole Cassidy overworking himself, which even the bill didn't make sense, because I told you before, like, yes, let's do a Texas death match on free television against Matt Taven with no title on the line, not a blood feud, but just to have a match on there, just to build into a regular match at the pay-per-view, which makes zero freaking sense. But
Not at all.
I guess they tried to use the whole Cassidy injury thing, and Roderick Strong won. But then, like you said, the big surprise, Kyle O'Reilly is back. I gotta say,
Hey,
Kyle O'Reilly. We have not seen Kyle O'Reilly in damn near over 2 years now, I think. And I think we were there the last time we saw him. And I think that was at the first Forbidden Door. And then he disappeared
yeah,
after that.
gone ever
And
since. Wasn't
yeah,
he injured there or something?
yeah, he was
What
injured,
was it?
like neck. It was
Yeah,
pretty bad.
it was. Yeah, so I'm
Mm.
just happy to see him back. And the whole situation of what did he whisper in his ear? That's why I think the Roderick Strong face turn is coming. I feel like he's going to be put in the crossroads in which he has to make a choice. I think he's going to choose right. I think Kyle is going to be like, man, bring yo, come on, man. What are you up to? What are you doing?
The real Undisputed Era.
Yeah. And I mean, it's possible. Now, I mean, it ain't going to be the full undisputed. But it can be a better version. Maybe even if Adam Cole's, injury, whenever he gets through his injury, it could be fun.
Yeah, they could join all back up together.
It would
Uh,
be fun.
True, because they have not booked the. Like I said, these people had all the Undisputed Era, and they have not booked them well when they did have all of them, and they could have just formed it right there, and they didn't have it and messed it up. So, I'm glad to see Kyle O'Reilly back. He looked like he just woke up out of a coma, like with bags under his eyes, disheveled, crazy hair, and all that. So he
Man,
he did look
honestly,
pretty different.
I wonder if that's a new look that he's going for.
I think so. Like, hey, he just looked like he just woke up, like
I mean,
literally.
I'm not mad at it. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I want to see where it goes. So whatever he whispers in the Strong's ear. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But I am glad to see Kyle O'Reilly back though. So yeah, good. Very glad to see him back. So we'll see where that's gonna go. Next, FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club. John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli for some reason wanted to come out there dressed as the Road Warriors, which I just find that increasingly funny, because I'm like, these guys don't really even compare to the Road Warriors for multiple account of reasons. And I'm sure a lot of people probably buried that. The tag match itself, I thought it was really good. The crowd was very quiet through like the first half of it, but they kind of came back to alive later on. I know
Mm,
Dax ended up bleeding heavily from his head.
yeah.
Because the last time they had a match was like 2 weeks ago on Dynamite, I think, and it went to a time limit draw. So it was no time limit here. And like I said, it got really good going towards the end. It ended up with Moxley choking out Dax while he was bleeding, and he never tapped out. His arm just went limp, and Mox and Claudio won from there.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
it's not much to say from this. Like, it was a good tag
yeah,
match,
it was.
and it got better like later on and stuff. But them beating FTR. We'll see what happens after. Maybe they get a tag title shot. I'm not really sure. Wherever that's gonna go, or if the feud even continues. But like I said, it was a good match. Like, I don't really got much to say from this. But it was still enjoyable. I just kind of laughed when I saw them come out as the Road Warriors, though. So I'm sure that's gonna get buried a lot. So watch out for that.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. You know,
Yes,
I guess that these are the pay-per-views where you do that type of shit. I guess I don't think they're comparing themselves to the Road Warriors. Just I feel like they just maybe paying homage or some shit. You know how wrestlers do sometimes.
I get it. It's just when I saw them wear it, I just kind of started laughing to myself, like, yeah, this doesn't kind of come close to the Road
Like,
Warriors, but
yeah,
okay.
don't play yourself type shit. Yeah, and I get that too.
Yeah, like don't play yourself all the way. So that just kind of got me. That really kind of got me there. But like I said, it was still a really good tag match though. Right after that was the AEW Women's Championship on the line. Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm versus Deonna
I,
Purrazzo.
I like the entrance for Timeless with the
You see when
quick
I guess
flush.
Mariah May came out to
And first of
Tony
all,
Storm's old
nigga,
music.
honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. Brief moment, I'm sitting here like, oh shit, she came back with the old school for Revolution. Nah, just a swerve. I liked it.
They fooled me. I'm not gonna lie, they fooled me on that. So they kind of had me going there for a second. That was pretty good. The match itself, though, honestly, this is probably one of the weaker parts of the show. Like, the match was just okay. The crowd really sat through their hands throughout the whole match. Like, the crowd did not give a fuck. Like, they really didn't. And then it was like a bullshit finish with, Luther getting involved and Mariah May getting involved and Tony Storm just, kicking Deanna and then hit the Storm Zero for the win. So, I'll give credit. This was a match that was actually had a lot of build to it, which was actually pretty good going into this match. It's just nobody cared, and the match was just kind of eh.
I agree. Well, I do agree, but I also really, I mean, I really just love Tony Storm's matches. Like the Timeless Tony Storm thing is one of my favorite things happening right now.
True, like the gimmick is great. Tony Storm is great. Do you think that I guess when Mercedes there debuts in like the next week or two, um, do you think she's obviously going for Tony Storm for the title?
Oh yeah, but I think she should lose.
Mercedes or Tony?
Mercedes. I'm not a fan of people just coming in and winning championships. I need storyline. And not just a storyline of we used to be on WWE, now we're gonna face each other here in AEW, and I'm gonna win because I'm the more famous one. No, let's do. I'm coming in. I'm that chick. Da 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 da. And I'm coming for the AEW championship. And Tony's like, all right, cool, and she ends up winning. Of course, she'll probably doing the whole little Tony Storm way, some type of little Weasley way to get out of it, but she wins. And I think then the next match that you have, because you know how AEW do, you do one match, you're doing it 5 times. So, like, let them have that one match. Tony Storm wins the first, and maybe I was about to say Bianca Belair, Jesus Christ. And then Monet, she wins the second one, or Money, however she want to say it. She wins the second match for the title, and then she goes on her little reign. But again, she did that in New Japan. Then she basically came in and just won the championship. And it's like, all right, that's cool. But I don't need you doing that in every single company you go to. I think you can build since you're gonna be here for a while. Let's build a storyline.
True. No, you're not wrong. It's kind of funny because both of these women came from WWE also.
No, I know, and that's why I'm like, it's so easy to go into the whole, former WWE, blah 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 storyline.
True, and I think also given Tony Storm's whole gimmick change has really helped her. It's like one of the only biggest things out of the women's division when it comes to AEW. So that's one thing that helped a lot. That's like I said, that's probably one of the best gimmicks they got around AEW, especially in the women's division. Because like I said, I like Deonna Purrazzo and whatnot, but I knew she wasn't gonna win. But this match was just not it.
I get that.
It just wasn't it, and it was just a bullshit finish. And Tony won. So and it's like I said before, the crowd just they sat on their hands. They just didn't. They didn't care. They didn't care. So it was one of those things that just came and went. But they did end up waking up for the next match. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita.
Woo!
And
Let's talk
man,
about
want
it.
to talk about insanity.
Let's talk about you. Match of the year. The year just started. Match of the year, man. Jesus Christ. And this is with all due respect to Sting's final match. That's for real match of the year. That's gonna be match of the year for real because it's the last match of one of the greatest wrestlers to ever live. But Will Ospreay, man. Bro, I just learned about this man maybe like a year or two ago, and he's already becoming one of my favorite wrestlers. And it's not even close. It's not even close. Like the man's a monster. His match, that match was great. Literally the spot when they were just fucking going back to back to back. Oh my, bro, yeah. And I'm a fan of that kind of stuff. If you're gonna do a spot, I love a spot where it's like smooth transitions and moves that turn into other moves and switch. Dude, they killed it. They killed it, man.
And trust me, I've seen a lot of Will Ospreay matches, so I usually know how these things go. I've been even live for this type of stuff too when it comes to Will Ospreay. So you're gonna get something crazy out of it. I'm glad to see Takeshita actually got some music and an entrance instead of coming out to a
Yeah.
loud drone with Don Callis all the time. Also, but yes, this match was insanity. I know there's criticism of it, given nobody doesn't seem to really sell. It's like everybody just hits moves and just kind of gets back up and takes, it's like I can hit you with a German suplex way in the air, but like you back up in a second though. Like I know it's like a lot of just back and forth, fluidity and whatnot when it comes to the moves. But man, the crowd was super hyped for this match. They were very,
Damn.
very hyped. The most dangerous thing out of this match was like the brain buster Takeshita did on Ospreay, which obviously if you look at Ospreay's lower back, it's very bruised.
Yeah.
Like he got a very bruised lower back now, because of that move. But it was like this match was insane. Okay,
It was nonstop action.
like even when like Ospreay did the Os cutter, was going for the Os cutter, then Takeshita just caught him and just what hit him like a blue um or just even like I said, the whole transition thing with what Takeshita doing the big German suplex and Ospreay getting back up and hitting blades. So like I said, this match was insanity. But getting towards the end, Ospreay hitting the Styles Clash, which everybody popped for, and
Yeah.
then hitting the Tiger Driver, and then the hidden blade to the back of Takeshita's neck and head or winning the match. So Will Ospreay was gonna win. It's his big debut match in AEW, even though we've
Yeah.
seen him wrestle on AEW like several times in the past. So it's not like he's new around here. It's just he's finally signed here. So like they waited 5 months to get this guy in the company because you had to finish all his commitments in New Japan first. But this was insane. After Don Callis got in the ring, and then Kyle Fletcher came out because United Empire with him and Will Ospreay, and they helped each other up, and Ospreay and Fletcher hugged and put up the United Empire sign in. So
Mhm.
uh, it was really good stuff though. This match was crazy. This match was insane. I
It
know
was
some people are not gonna like it. I know some people are gonna like it.
who's
Like
not liking this?
I know a lot of people. Hey man, people I know that they went back and forth about it because of the no selling thing. Because there was a lot of no selling
Dude,
in this.
but it's like, okay, I get that, but like, I don't know. Like, I do get the no selling in certain things, but like these guys, like to me at least, it didn't seem like they not doing hard style Japan wrestling. They're not doing like hard chops and you know what I mean, and
Yeah, strong style.
yeah, they're not doing. I said hard style. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but
Yeah,
strong
it's not
style
like
wrestling.
Danielson and Kingston from earlier. It is a little in a
Exactly.
way,
That
given
was
both those
strong
guys.
style wrestling. That was chops. Making moments with real impact. These guys were literally putting on like it was built to make a show. They were building a show. And again, like to me, this is a that was a masterclass on this is how you make spots. This is how you do spots. You know what I mean? This is how you do them. it's not about just waiting for a wrestler to get into position, but it's all about just literally it flowed so well, dude. It
Spur of
literally
the
was
moment.
like, bro, it was like it felt like even though they probably practiced this shit a ton, it felt like they were doing everything on the fly. You know what I mean? Like everything, like there was no plan to it. Just like you know Will Ospreay's gonna win, but like it really felt like a on the fly match. You didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen next, and I love a good match like that. And I think I was on uh, I was on YouTube earlier, and I was looking at Simon Miller, and he was saying like it's official. Will Ospreay has a match, and I'm gonna have to agree. Like that kind of like if that's what he's bringing every match, dude, he's gonna have the belt in less than a year.
Oh, or he will get it. Hell, maybe by All In for all we know. Uh,
Honestly,
because like I said, it's all like I said, this match had no build. There was no build to this match. This match was just literally made the minute Ospreay finally got to come to AEW. Like I said, he finished everything up in New Japan. So now he said he was gonna be a Revolution. It happened, and like I said, it was no build to this, but you knew you were gonna get a crazy ass match out of this.
exactly, and that's all you. Honestly, that's all I was looking for.
Like that's how insane it was. So like I said, I've seen enough Will Ospreay matches to know how a lot of these things go. Like I said, I've been there live, so you know you're gonna get something insane when you got Will Ospreay out there. So
Damn,
like him and Takeshita, it was great. In my opinion, it
yeah,
was great
I
stuff from
agree.
this. We'll definitely see what's gonna happen after that. I'm sure Ospreay probably gonna turn on the Don Callis family anyway, so we'll see where that goes. But next though was the AEW World Title on the line. Jim Ross was on commentary.
Yeah,
Um, Especially for the next two matches. I'm glad to see JR back on commentary. I thought he sounded
actually,
really good. Yeah, he sounded really good. I know there's been a lot of health issues with him lately.
right.
Uh, I know like surgeries and whatnot. I know it's been like I think it's been like cancer related, but they got it out of him and whatnot. So glad to see that he's recovering well and just to be here for obviously Sting's last match and whatnot, but even also for the world title. But yes, we did have Samoa Joe versus Swerve versus Hangman. Obviously with Swerve's entrance, you're gonna get the dancing with Prince Nana.
Yeah,
And that's
with the backup dancers.
oh yeah, bringing the backup dancers and stuff, just dancing. Whose house? Swerve's house. Going into this has mostly kind of been about Hangman and Swerve continuing this feud that looks like it never ends, but it has looked like it's reversed according to the crowd, even though in the company standpoint they've try to make Hangman look like the face and Swerve the heel, but now
No.
that the crowd's basically turned on it now, and that Swerve is the face to them, and Hangman is the heel, and they kind of leaned into it more with Hangman now, making him like paranoid, doing whatever he can to beat Swerve, not even really caring what else is going on. That's Samoa Joe. Not saying he's the odd man out of this, but even Samoa Joe, like I'm the world champion here. Y'all need to be paying attention to me. I don't care about y'all little petty squabble right now. This about me.
Right.
Okay. So this match, I thought it was a really good triple threat. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of ref bumps. I'll say that it was definitely a lot of ref bumps out there with refs coming in and out. But what was it? I'm trying to remember. Because even Swerve not even wanting Prince Nana's help to win the match. Like I'm gonna do this on my own. Um, what if I remember correctly? I don't know, it was the Muscle Buster or whatnot, but I think what Swerve I mean like hit his own buckshot on the Joe and was trying to pin him, but like Hangman started beating up the referee then. Like he
Yeah.
tried to
So
make
what's up
sure
with that?
Swerve didn't win.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's the whole thing, but damn, you beating up referees now? Shit. I mean, I know it's under, there's no disqualification, but shit. That's like an unwritten rule.
Like he just beating up the referees deliberately, like making sure that Swerve does not win or
I mean,
pulling him from under the ring. He was just doing what he
he
could. But
he literally lost just to make sure Swerve didn't win.
basically, and I'm not surprised the outcome out of this because I believe it will be Swerve versus Joe in the future. So I figured Hangman was going to take the fall here by getting choked out by Samoa Joe. And like, I didn't want Joe to lose anyways right now. Come on, Joe just got the title, so I want this title reign go on for a pretty good while. Like, it's Samoa Joe. Like, I want Swerve to win too, but I'm like, nah, this is Joe's time right now. So, like I said, I enjoyed the match. I thought it was really good. Like I said, it was just mostly Hangman and did whatever it take to make sure Swerve. So there you go, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, it was crazy, but yeah, Samoa Joe, he ended up winning the match. So like I said, really good world title match. And whatnot. But yeah, Swerve versus Joe will probably most likely be in the future with now Hangman out of the picture by taking the fall here. But next up, we do get into the main event of this show. Sting's last match. AEW Tag Team titles on the line. Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks. Before this match even started, they did bring out Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as the guest timekeeper. They even showed Nikita Koloff, Magnum TA, and Scotty Riggs, in the crowd. They had the Bucks come out, the EVP with the robes coming from under the ring to like a platform rising up, going to the ring. Darby obviously made his regular entrance, but then they show like Sting in a movie theater, basically showing like, classic footage from his entire career from NWA, matches with Ric Flair, Steamboat and others to the end, to New Japan going against the Great Muta, obviously stuff in AEW, him tagging with Darby and going against other people like Jarrett and them. And I know it's only so much footage they could use of Sting because we know WWE wasn't going to let them really use it. And I know they own all the WCW library. And I know they couldn't use any TNA footage, which in a way I don't really kind of blame TNA for not really letting AEW use anything it is after how AEW's fucked over TNA. So I'm not really going to go into that whole thing. But I can kind of understand why they didn't let them use the footage because shit, AEW doesn't even mention TNA, even with people they have from TNA, don't even mention the accolades. But that's a different story for another time. But like I said, I like the whole thing with Sting looking at his career and even saying like, it's showtime, let's do this. And then they had his sons come out, basically dressed as Sting, like Surfer Sting and NWO Wolfpack Sting. And then, Sting himself came out to his WCW 2000 music, Metallica Seek and Destroy. Hell of an entrance. That was cold. And, even with his kids right there,
it was crazy.
That was crazy. But this tornado tag match, which immediately Darby just dives out as soon as they even hit the ring. And of course, they were gonna go on the outside. Sting's sons even get involved doing stinger splashes. I thought it was gonna be all right them doing the double scorpion deathlock, but like I said, they fought into the crowd. They were basically gonna go all over the place. We got chairs. We got tables. We got glass. And, man, glass is going to be a big theme throughout this match. But Sting ended up even hitting one of the glasses with his baseball bat.
Yeah.
And, that was pretty brutal when he did that. I'm like, man, he just broke that whole glass pane like that. And then,
that was definitely the worst thing we saw with glass that night.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to the next big part of, where the worst thing with glass comes in. Man, let's see here, because they've been fighting up to the stage. The Bucks end up like putting both Sting and Darby through like tables to the outside of the stage. Then, which the fans started to chant "Fuck you, Young Bucks." Darby did make it back to the ring trying to take on the Bucks then, but this is obviously the big thing that everybody's talking about in this match. Okay, Darby basically climbed the ladder. Had like one of the Bucks sat on like a stack of chairs with the big glass paint, like the glass paint onto it and whatnot. And this dude does a freaking swanton and goes through the glass and is bleeding heavily, which probably may have punctured the artery and whatnot. But that was very brutal. And even I had to sit there like, that's real glass?
Yeah, Yes.
And I'm sure the
Or
joke.
maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
No, it was real glass, dude. That was
It
real glass.
was.
That
What
was
is
real.
they?
I
What is
was
they?
watching.
I was leaving hope that it was that it wasn't. Damn. What is Darby's problem?
This man is a madman. This man is built different, and I'm honestly surprised he even finished this match.
I'm
This
sorry,
man looked like
Darby.
he punctured a like. Look at his back. It looked like he
He
may have punctured an artery.
like like look. This nigga is literally if Jeff Hardy and Mick Foley and Terry Funk had like a baby. He needs to retire.
Don't worry, he'll be climbing Mount Everest next month. Apparently,
He okay. I mean, hey, it's possible.
seriously.
I know it's possible. People have done it. Be careful. But why am I telling that nigga that shit? Damn, Jesus Christ. I was
See,
really hoping that wasn't real glass.
that that was real. I thought it was fake at first, but I'm like, no, that's real. Nobody just doesn't bleed like that. I'm
Mm,
sorry, but that was real.
that was hoping. Yeah, his back
And
was fucked up.
I know the whole meme of the Jungle Boy Cry Me a River thing, because some people believe this was taking a shot at CM Punk doing this glass thing.
And if it was, then what a way to send a shot. I
I
wouldn't.
guess so.
I wouldn't care that much.
Yeah, and I'm like, Darby's cool with Punk, so
I'm
I
glad that
I
it
don't
is
know.
anyway.
You know, I thought this at first when looking at this whole glass thing, because at first I was gonna kind of compare it with both Jungle Boy and Darby. Like, here's the difference in this: as excessive and insane and kind of stupid as it was, I'm like, well, on one hand, you could say, well, Darby did this in the main event where it actually means something. You know, it's Sting, it's the tag team titles, it's the main event and whatnot, compared to Jungle Boy, which was on a damn pre-show going for a title that really isn't even really acknowledged by the company for that. What is it, the FTW belt? And then again, this dude was already trying to take shots at CM Punk at the time. Anyways, some could compare it to that when you want to think about it, but I just think this was insane. And I'm like I said, I'm surprised he finished this match. So I know some would compare with both Darby and Jungle Boy when it comes to glass. Like, well, he did it where it actually meant something, but I'm like, damn, was it worth it?
Man, it's never worth it. I don't care who you are.
Because, like I said, I'm surprised he finished this, because this basically was just Sting doing the rest of this match on his own, okay? Because, like I said, Darby's is on the ground. Sting gets in there. You know, he's coming back. He's doing the Stinger Splash. I'm surprised his kids didn't get back involved in this match. They just happened to disappear. And you know, even what they put Sting through a table, he gets right back up. They threw Sting also in the glass too. So, you know, maybe it's good that he had all those clothes on, like the slacks
Yeah.
and the shirt, because at first I'm like, this is Sting's last match. I'm like, maybe he should just wear his regular wrestling gear again, because he did do that at one point before he just kind of went to the t-shirt, and then he just went to the long sleeve t-shirt and the slacks and whatnot. Like, I've seen Sting wrestle in a shirt before in TNA, but I actually kind of thought he would at least go back to his original gear for the night. But I'm like, well, since he went through that glass, I'm kind of glad he wore all that protective clothing in, because he goes through the table. I'm well, at the table, but he goes through the glass, and they even kicked him in the balls right after that, and then they hit him with a scorpion death drop, and he still kicks out. And then they tried to get the title belt, and then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat gets involved, and they take him out, and then Flair gets involved, which then Ric Flair, at least he didn't do what he did on Wednesday, but they probably should have did that tonight, where it probably would have gotten a bigger pop on this show instead of doing it last Wednesday on Dynamite. I felt like that, like they could have, Flair turn on the Bucks there and would have done that. That would have made more sense. But they just end up super kicking Ric Flair, out of the ring then they super
Mhm.
kick Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And then, they super kick Sting, and he says, like, come on and all that stuff. And, Sting still kicking out. And I guess they were going to go. They even did their finisher on Sting, still kicks out. And I guess they were going to hit him with something else. But Darby miraculously, and I mean miraculously, gets up,
Man.
push one of the Bucks onto the tables outside, Sting hits the Scorpion Death Drop. Darby hits the Coffin Drop. Sting hits the Scorpion Death Lock on Matt Jackson, and they retain the tag team titles.
Hell yeah.
So Sting went out undefeated in AEW because I'm sure a lot of people were worried that they was gonna have to put over the Young Bucks. Because honestly, I thought it was a joke when I found out this was gonna be Sting's final opponents. Honestly, because and before we kind of get into critiquing the match and all that, but yeah, Sting and them won. Sting went out on top. Sting went out undefeated in AEW.
Yeah.
And he celebrated, and they did give him the mic right after, and he's thanking Greensboro and the fans, and Darby said, I said I would die tonight, but I'm still breathing. I'm like, yeah, you are still breathing. You are still breathing. And
I feel like he was prepared to die that night.
I guess so. And Sting's like, I'm a risk taker. The only thing that was weird, I guess, because of the time constraints on pay-per-view, because even Darby had to tell him how much time. It was like 3 minutes left. And, so it seems like, I guess we're getting queued. So you had to literally go to YouTube or Twitter to watch the rest of what Sting had to say. Like, they really went off the air.
No, yeah, I mean, that's TV programming. So
that's TV,
especially with pay-per-views, it's probably different when you have you partner with a streaming service like WWE is. But yeah, when the time's up, time's up.
Time's up. But nah, this was one hell of a way for Sting to go out. Going into this match, gonna be the Young Bucks, but they said this was Sting's decision and he wanted to face them. So I'm like, okay, even though I know even myself, I'll say I kind of take that with a grain of salt in some sort of fashion. Because a lot of people just didn't really buy into the Bucks going against them, even with this new EVP heel gimmick and whatnot, with the porn mustaches and I guess trying to be Vince and stuff. And people just kind of looked at it as a joke because a lot of people wonder, well, how couldn't they do this with CM Punk, where it probably would have drew a lot of money and heat? But I think we all know why that couldn't happen.
Because they pussy.
But they end up doing it with Sting and Darby, and I'd laugh because this really did get a lot of negative reaction as people find out, because it's this is really, because even I was like, y'all couldn't find nobody else to face Sting and Darby, nobody else. I was really thinking that.
Who would you have wanted?
Say again.
Who would you have wanted?
Well, not even the tag team. I think I may have said this before. I thought it would have made sense if it was Sting versus Darby, and probably they could have did the same crazy match like they did here, but it probably could have ended up with Sting putting over Darby and passing the torch and whatnot, and giving him the rub and stuff. So it's hey, you got the juice now, kid, or something like that. So I probably was. That's what I thought what was gonna happen. But hey, they end up winning the tag team titles and both going out on top. But the match was insane. Sting went out with a bang, and they did a lot, as much as they could, to put into this Sting retirement thing and bringing in people. I know some people thought more people were going to get involved, maybe like Kevin Nash and others, but some people are under WWE Legends deal, so they couldn't even be able to come to AEW to help do this whole Sting retirement stuff. But yeah, he went out on top. But I don't know what other team they could have faced. I was gonna say FTR, but they already beat them. Or somebody else, I would have thought. I don't know who else really could have. Unless we want to start going through tag teams, then that'd be different. I know some said the Hardys, but I'm like, I don't know about that. But no. I think with the Bucks, given people don't really like the Bucks already, not even because of the heel thing all the way, just for multiple other counter reasons too, is the reason why it worked and stuff. It's just I think people didn't really take the Bucks seriously going into this, especially I think I told you when they came out and beat up Sting and Darby with the baseball bats when they won the tag titles, and they beating up Sting's kids. And I remember somebody saying Sting's kids look really big. Why are they selling to the Young Bucks? I'm like, well, they're not wrestlers, but yeah, they got some size on them. Okay, why are they getting beat up by these two small ice cream men? I heard that joke. Like, so a lot of people wonder like why they getting beat up by them because it's a lot of things I could make jokes about. Either they look like two retired Cuban cigar smokers, someone said, or one looks like Dom DeLuise with the hat. So it's a lot of jokes to make out of it, but like they played the heel foil to Sting and Darby, so they got the crowd reaction that they did. It's just I think some people kind of thought Sting probably would have gotten a bigger opponent, you know, going out of this. Like, what you really think about all of this? Just how crazy this match was.
True, but who would have been the bigger opponent?
It's a good question. Who else was there?
Not many, and that's what I'm saying.
Unless you're gonna bring somebody from Sting's past, and I don't know, because like it wasn't gonna be Ric Flair. I know that.
Nah, please don't bring that man in here to do nothing.
Like I said, this man's under contract already, but like, no, we don't need to. Nah, we don't really want to see that. After what I saw Wednesday, I'm like, no, don't do it. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It really is. Don't do it at all. Don't even think about doing
it. It's not worth it. It's a lawsuit. You don't want to see that. But I will say in regards to Sting's career, like I said, that has nearly spanned it to almost like 40 years and whatnot, going all the way from like I said, to NWA in like 1988 87 if I'm not mistaken. But just in all the big companies from the NWA to WCW to New Japan to TNA to WWE, which I know a lot of people don't like to mention his WWE career that much, especially how bad it was. But he was over there, and even going all the way into AEW now and whatnot. Because, like I said, when you look at his accolades and matches, and I'm not going to go through all of them right here, but just, kind of skimming like his biggest opponents, whether it be a Ric Flair or, Hulk Hogan or Ricky Dragon Steamboat or the Great Muta or opponents like Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett. Damn, who else has been a big opponent Sting has went against throughout the years? I'm trying to think more. Goldberg, Brett,
The Undertaker.
That's a match. You almost got me. You almost got me. That's a match that people wanted years ago in WWE, and they didn't pull the trigger on it.
They never pulled. Man, it sucked. Way too late now. I would have hated that if they would have did that.
Oh yeah,
they would like if that was his last match. Freaking nah, that's way past the prime now.
True, because after what happened in WWE and how the whole match with Triple H went and how basically like they had to kill the last remnant of WCW, which as crazy as it was, and it was a spectacle. Like it makes sense at the same time because everybody was like, why would the NWO ever help Sting when Sting fought the NWO throughout all the WCW?
Literally, that was the whole. I mean, but didn't he create his own NWO faction at the end of it though?
Well, yeah, Wolfpack, because one thing you can say about Sting, even being in multiple groups, Horsemen would have been part of the NWO, would have been part of the Main Event Mafia. Like Sting's been in a lot of big stuff, like I said, throughout his career. Like I said, multiple time world champion, NWA world champion, WCW champion, TNA world champion. Like I said, now AEW tag team champion, WCW US champion, WWE and TNA Hall of Famer, TNA tag. It's a lot of titles you can name through Sting's accolades. I'm not going to go into all of them, but like I said, Sting's had a very long and lengthy career, especially the longevity of it. Because, like I said, we thought this guy was done like a few years ago back in WWE after what happened with Seth Rollins, but he ended up showing in AEW and he was back at it again.
Yeah,
it's like he never left.
Some people got it like that.
Yeah, he just bounced back like that, and he still could do it. So, like I said, when he debuted in AEW, like that was a mark out moment. I'm not gonna lie, I marked out for that because I never thought I was gonna see Sting back in any type of wrestling ring again, and it ended up it ended up happening. So like I say, his AEW debut was big. I'm glad I got to see Sting wrestle live. Well, shit, we were at that show.
Yeah,
The Forbidden Door.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's
And then
like, hey,
jump from the freaking top of the entrance.
yeah, jumping off the barricade of like the balcony, which that's one thing with Sting in AEW, man. This dude was jumping off a lot of stuff.
Man,
Insane stunts, like just doing the most craziest things he could do and still get up after it. So I'm glad I got to see Sting wrestle live and just see him live in general multiple times in AEW. So I'm glad I got to see that. Because I basically watched Sting through the late '90s of WCW, and his basically damn near his entire TNA run, and all the way up to his current run AEW. So like I said, it's a lot of variations of Sting: Surfer Sting, Crow Sting, Wolfpack Sting, uh, Vigilante Sting,
yeah,
Joker Sting. We can't forget about Joker Sting.
great. That was a great thing.
Yeah, so like Joker's thing was great in TNA. So yeah, it's a lot of things to say throughout Sting's career, especially the longevity of it and how much he's done throughout all these companies and just was able to come back and he ended it on his own terms.
Absolutely, I agree with everything you said, man. 10 out of 10 match, just absolutely. If there was any way to go out, he went out well.
Yeah, he went out. Yeah, he went out big time. Like they did as much as they could to put into this put into this whole retirement run for Sting and bringing in Flair and others. I did wish was going to see more people involved in this, but like I said, there'll be contracts and whatnot. Because I'm not gonna lie, I would have liked if I saw the main event Mafia just kind of pop up, one more time, with Kurt Angle and Booker T and Scott Steiner and
Now you know,
Kevin Nash.
Booker.
Well, we know why they don't like TNA.
Yeah, but I mean maybe Kurt, but I think Kurt worked with WWE more too.
I,
So
I think he's under a contract with them. Like most of these guys I just named, they're under a WWE Legends deal. Like Kevin Nash said it himself on his podcast. So there's a reason why he couldn't make it and whatnot. So there you go. So yeah, but now I think the AEW tag team titles are now relinquished. I guess I think it's gonna be some tournament now for them. I think
okay,
so. I think
that
that's
sounds cool.
what's gonna happen next. You get what I mean?
No, I do.
Yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. I didn't watch the whole media scrum, so I just saw some clips, and I think that's what's gonna happen with the tag team titles. And I think Sting said he will probably pop back up in AEW in the future and whatnot, but I think he said he's not really gonna be like an agent or like a producer in the back, but he will pop up in the future at some point.
Shoot, however he do, man, however he come through is always accepted.
Oh yes, of course. Because I know some would say like it's best he didn't take the agent or producer job because it's not like a lot of people listen to the legends in AEW anyways. That's already kind of been established as it is, uh, for multiple reasons.
No word.
So yeah, I think he will pop back up at some point. But like I said, this was one hell of a way to go out. Darby, we'll see if he makes it to Wednesday.
We will see. I think he will.
He looked somewhat okay after that match, but man, you could see like the punctured arteries on him now.
God, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, that was a tough. That was probably the toughest spot he's ever taken.
Like, don't get me wrong, he's tough. He's taking some rough bumps, and like the dude's like a human missile projector sometime. But the way he be landing sometime, I be wondering if he's actually gonna get up.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I mean, he does every time. I think that's more so adrenaline than anything, though.
Because one thing I had said before, like you know about you want to talk about Sting doing this crazy stuff. I'm like, man, you need to be watching out for Darby too, because like even I remember they were off TV like for like a few weeks because Darby had did something at that Nitro Circus, jumping off a motorcycle, ended up fucking up his own shoulder.
Dude is crazy.
Like he's insane, and this glass thing he did was even more insane. So I can see why some would call it just very ridiculous and dangerous. And even I didn't think about this at first, but with the glass shattering everywhere, they better be lucky it didn't hit any fans because that's a lawsuit. Then I just thought the glass got excessive because we just saw too much of it in the match.
I could agree with that. Honestly, after a certain while, I was like, damn, this is a lot.
Lot of glass. But overall, I thought this was a really great pay-per-view. I think it was way better than AEW World's End because that pay-per-view was trashed. I think also the crowd was very hot throughout it, but the whole night. The crowd was hyped. Obviously, it was a sold-out crowd due to it being Sting's last match. But it was a lot of great matches on here. I thought it was a really great show.
Yeah, I agree. I give it, shoot, damn near 9 or 10 out of 10. It was like every match to me was great.
Yeah, like
Even
the only thing I didn't really like on here was probably the scramble match, the 8-man scramble, and the women's title match. Everything else mostly was either good to great. Like I
yes,
said, you had Ospreay, Takeshita,
yeah,
uh, the world title match, obviously the main event. I thought Kingston and Danielson was great. Um, that's kind of most of it. Like I said, we saw Kyle O'Reilly return too, so that was a pretty big thing. So yeah, I thought this was a great pay-per-view. Like I said, this is really probably the biggest great thing AEW has done in a multiple count of months because it's not like the TV has been that good in general. So um, I'm pretty, like I said, this was great.
I agree, man. This was great. It makes me want to start watching AEW weekly again.
Yeah, let's hope the booking will get better because
Hopefully,
like
so.
right now I just feel like AEW's been cold for a pretty good while now for a number of months. Like it doesn't seem like a lot of people seem to care. That's why I kind of felt like we're relying on work shoot interviews now and mention other people from WWE when they don't really need to do that, but they end up doing it anyways. Not saying they ever took shots at WWE before, but it's like it started, especially when you got Darby out there saying like, "Yeah, we used to have the EVP with a brain that worked here,"
Oh yeah,
and the fans start chanting Cody. And a lot of people wonder, like, where's the lie?
oh real shit.
Like, folks, like what Bobby Fischer say, folks, where's the lie? Like, he's not wrong. You were Punk, like a lot of stuff he said, he wasn't really wrong. So it's just now that glass thing is being brought up again now. So it's a lot to say about that. So this was actually one of the good things I would say out of this whole show that I feel like AEW has kind of done in a while. So maybe they can keep up with that momentum. I'm not sure. Cause like I said, it was a sold out crowd. It hasn't been like a half empty arena crowd lately because we've seen how the attendance has been. But according to Dave Meltzer there, poor people can't afford AEW. Like that's why AEW is not doing good right now with attendance. They keep going to poor cities.
Wow, how does Dave Meltzer have a job calling? Okay, man,
No,
I
he
guess.
said he said that bullshit though. Like, yeah, man, poor people they can't afford it. That's why the attendance is so bad. They keep going to
When
these
did
poor
when
cities.
did Dave Meltzer become a bad bitch talking about broke boys and shit and what people can afford?
Almost like he could only afford it. Like, yeah, the places they're going to only so it's only poor people, huh? So poor people can't watch AEW. Like you're like, oh, we can't go to that poor wrestling. We gotta go to this rich wrestling. They can't afford to go to AEW.
That's wild.
I heard that and I started laughing. So like, wow, really? So the reason why they're not doing so good in attendance and all of that is because of poor people. Gotta start going to these poor cities.
Damn, that's a wild thing to say.
It is. It's wild. It's stupid. It's silly. But hey, Dave Meltzer's been getting a lot of stuff wrong lately and saying a lot of silly stuff and just lying and bad stuff in general, but that's kind of one of the hottest ones. Okay, but hey, we can afford to watch this show.
Man, nigga. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I watched it on my jailbroken Fire Stick, so
I watched it for free on the internet.
and that's how I save money to be rich. So
There you go. Who's paying for pay-per-views anymore?
man,
There you go. There's always a way. Done that for over 10, 11 years now, even longer.
hell yeah. But overall, great pay-per-view.
Great pay-per-view. Definitely enjoyed it. Like I said, it was just a great show overall. So definitely liked it. Other than that, yeah, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at HoodNight890. Do you got anything to say?
Go to
Where we at?
Clash on Clark. If you're in Chicago, go to Clash on Clark. Look up Clash on Clark on Instagram. It's a fun time.
All right then. Good stuff then. So yeah, ta-ta for now. We are done. We're out of here. It's showtime. See y'all later. Peace.
Peace.